want a professional photographer at the birth of your baby? But joining me now is Louise Brooks, who did pay a professional photographer to be at the birth of her baby, and parenting author Liz Fraser. And, of course, let's not miss 4.5-month-old Freya, who is gorgeous. Welcome, all three of you. Lovely to... Oh, she is adorable.
She's very cute.
Isn't she? Well, I don't think it's going to matter what any of us say, because everyone's going to be gooning over your beautiful baby. Now, Louise, what made you decide to have a professional photographer?
That's a good question, actually. I don't think I would have ever thought about it had I not met a woman who strongly recommended Kate Griffin, who's my photographer, and who referred me to her website. And I was quite sceptical, to be honest, before I checked out her previous videos. And when I did it, I had such an emotional reaction to the two slideshows that she'd featured on the website that I just looked at my husband and said that would be amazing if we could have that. And he was equally in bits when he saw the other two.
And so how long? Because some of the people there were saying in the video, it'd have to be somebody that I knew quite well. Yeah. So presumably you had meetings with the photographer well before the birth, so that you felt comfortable with her. How important was that?
I think that was paramount. I mean, because I can completely relate to what these women are saying in the clip, that it's all about feeling comfortable in this room. And, you know, little do you know prior to giving birth that I think, you know, the Pope could be in the room, really, when you know, when it comes to that, and you don't really care.
See, that makes me just smile and tingle. I think that's a beautiful photograph. Because it's rather like when you get married, everything goes in a blur, doesn't it? And trying to remember... I mean, I do think that's Mother Nature doing a trick so that you don't do it. So that if you did remember, you wouldn't do it again. But it's funny because I had somebody take photographs through my labour. And we were talking about this yesterday, obviously, when you were coming on the programme. So I was looking... Oh, there's a photograph of me. And that's me with my husband. And I was looking through the photographs last night with my husband and my 4-year-old, that's Kiki B, who's now 4. Yeah. And I wasn't actually sure what I thought about this, about having a photographer. But my 4-year-old absolutely loved it. She was amazed. The first thing she said was, well, because my husband takes all the photographs. And I thought, how come Daddy's in the photograph? Because he's never in any photograph. I thought, that's such a good point, isn't it?
It's such a good
Because often you'll get the husband to do it, but then they're not in the photographs.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And one thing that I was so touched by when I saw the birth photography video afterwards was just the loving looks on my husband's face, because throughout the entire experience I felt like I had my eyes closed, to be honest. I felt like it was such an introverted experience for me, which is why I didn't...
tell you what, I've had 3 children, they're kind of grown up now. I want your labour. This is such a... no, ideal. Mine was 37 hours of absolute hell in every single case. It was awful, and... No, I know that some people have lovely labours, and that's great. I think it's wonderful, and what a lovely, calm baby you have. But, I mean, there are 2 points to make here, really. One is the personal thing, and so the one is the issue of, during that moment, and let's be honest, the moment of birth is not sexy, it's not beautiful, it's not pretty. It's a lot of blood, it's a lot of it's pretty grim. I always say that the only good thing about being a woman in the whole birthing process is that you're at this end, not that end. I don't want to be down there. I don't want to look down there, and I never want to know what happened down there during those. So I really don't want to see that, and I wouldn't want a record of it. But the other point is a sort of slightly more medical one, and that is that birth goes wrong sometimes very quickly, and it did for me at 2 out of my 3 pregnant births. And under those circumstances, I think we do need to be a little bit cautious about having extra people in the room. It's just a practical thing, and of course they've thought
you're talking about people that are going to stay far back. I was completely unaware that I was having photographs taken. And on the point of you saying it's not gorgeous, I would actually disagree. Last night, when we were flicking through these photos, because my baby's now nearly 5, so my husband had forgotten how extraordinary I am. And he was reminded yesterday of how incredible...
Do you not remind him of that every day?
And when he saw the photos, you know, he put his arms round me, and it was just like... And I knew, he didn't say, but I knew he thought I was looking beautiful there, because it's an extraordinary thing that you do. So I would strongly disagree with you.
It is an extraordinary thing, but there are many women, and in the books that I write and the articles I write, I talk to hundreds of women, and there are many, many women who, years down the line, and I'm one of these, years down the line, suddenly regretted that had all been seen, and that there was... I don't know, I suddenly retreated and I went, oh, do you know, I really wish you hadn't seen that, actually, and it caused a problem for me. And
I am fascinated that you are saying this, and to be honest, shocked. But, interestingly, we did do a poll with you guys at home, and 90% of our viewers said they wouldn't like a professional photographer at the birth of their child. Just 10% said they
I'd be interested in why.
So
I'd
that's
be interested in their reason why that is. If it's the intrusion, if it's the medical thing, or if it's just that you just don't want to know what's going on down there.
Well, personally, I think it rests on a bit of a misunderstanding, and I mean, interestingly, I was probably one of those 90% that didn't want to have it done. I mean, I didn't have a strong
I would have
aversion
probably
towards
said
it,
the same, and I hadn't even looked back on the photo. When I did last night, it was absolutely right. I think, listen, ladies, I've got to go. I could just talk about these all morning. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Freya, for being a perfect little baby.